doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dovec, and she's a dietitian.
Hey, I'm Hannah Schuyler, and together we are
the DoctorXDietitian Collab. Today, we are talking about Project Reset, and boy, there are a lot of things that need reset, including this podcast, Hannah. I mean, it's been a minute.
It's been so long. I've missed it so much. We talk about it all the time, and we're like, okay, we're going to do it. And you know what? We actually had a time set to record a podcast, and what did we do instead?
We just gossiped, I'm pretty sure.
We chit-chatted.
Yeah, we just chit-chatted.
For like an hour.
We would never gossip, but yes,
No.
That's not us. But no, we just caught up because it's been a minute, and here we are. We're here with Project Reset, and not just that, but we are here with Lora Grabow, who is just absolutely pivotal and instrumental in building this entire vision and project. Lora, thank you, and welcome to DoctorXDietitian.
Hello, I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I am very excited about Project Reset and what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, so we have we want to talk a lot about almost the genesis of this thing and why we decided that this was really important to focus our energies onto. I think for me, I get DM'd, messaged, asked all the time from patients, no matter what part of the journey they're on, they're just thinking, I need to get my mojo back. I have to do something to reset. Like, do you recommend me doing a pouch reset or going back to clears or this one magical time back in 1993, whenever I was really successful with that one extreme measure? Should I do that again? So I've always wanted to formulate something that really looked at all of the really key pillars to give them something that is a true program, that's something that's really thought out and not just just go to Clear Liquids for a couple of days. And I'm sure that, Hannah, that makes you cringe as well with that kind of advice.
Oh, 100%. People always want that. And it's, because I think people are looking for always a quick solution and something that worked for them, right? Like you said, it's like, yes, this one thing, it worked for me. I lost 10 pounds or whatever. And it's like, yeah. And then you kind of forget about that next step that happened, which was you probably regained that 10 pounds back, as soon as you stopped being on Clear Liquids or whatever it might be. And it doesn't really get to the root of what the issue is. And that's where we think that this is, the piece that's missing. It's what we need to fill in and catch people up so they can really get back to resetting on like a deeper level.
Mm-hmm. And Hannah, I mean, we talk a lot, obviously you're a dietitian, so we talk about meals and it's about eating, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, medications, surgery, all of these things. But the missing piece is 100% the thing that's deficient. And I think in almost all programs is the mindset. And Lora, that's where you come in. And I know that you've devoted your life, your career to that entire concept. But why is the most important piece, the secret to success, why is it the missing one always?
Right. Good question. First of all, I want to thank you for creating a program, Project Reset, that has the mindset piece. And you are right, it is missing. And I have worked with patients now, it'll be 21 years. I've supported bariatric patients with providing them the missing piece to their treatment plan. And one day I hope I'm not saying missing anymore, right? And I think it goes back to what Hannah said and what you've already kind of touched on with people are looking for a pouch reset and Clear Liquids. And I get that as a therapist, we want that easy answer. We want okay, what can I do to take care of this problem? Like, can we treat obesity like we treat strep throat? Give me 10 days of an antibiotic and I'm good, 10 days of a pouch reset. But those that are listening really know, because what I've learned the most is the answer isn't an easy answer. You have to figure out why you eat. Yes, you've picked the best tool to treat your diseases of obesity with bariatric surgery. That answered the how question. How am I going to treat my disease of obesity? But we must take time to answer why we eat. And for those that are struggling, like you said, Dr. Dovec, people want their mojo back. Some of our listeners may be struggling with weight recurrence, and they're looking for help. Project Reset is there. And what I say to them, it's not your fault that you're struggling. You weren't given all of the pieces, all of the pillars, if you will, to have success. And so that's why I'm so excited to be part of a brand new program by Body by Bariatrics that addresses the mindset piece.
And you started to introduce yourself. I just went right into the Project Reset, but tell us a little bit more about your journey. And I'm actually kind of curious how you even stumbled into this line of work 21 years ago, because bariatric surgery was really just in its infancy of gaining popularity, because in that time frame it really wasn't done laparoscopic. So making that transition from open techniques to laparoscopic is really what kind of pushed us further. And how did you kind of come onto the scene when it was so early?
Right. And first of all, I have to smile. Like, how do I even remember how many years? Because I had just had my first daughter. And so she's 21. So that's how I always remember. And it fits as to why I transitioned into obesity medicine. I'm a therapist, right? And my dream was always to work in adolescent psych and work with teenage girls. And that's what I was doing. And working in locked residential care and working with teenage girls with a lot of trauma, a lot of needs, a lot of mental health needs. And once I had my own child, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I poured my passion into this. One, I've always worked, but I was switching schedules, wanted to do less hours, and I needed something that wasn't so focused on trauma work every single day. And I had a colleague call me and say, hey, Lora, I know you're interested in doing some more evening hours now that you've had your baby. We need someone to do groups in our medical and surgical weight loss program. This is in 2003. Wow. I said, well, that's great. But I know nothing about medical and surgical weight loss. And he said, I know, but you know how to do groups. And I think you should apply. And it was a program here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I continue to practice. And I applied, and they had a medical weight loss program. And you are right, surgeries had just started here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they were just transitioning from open to laparoscopic. And I was hired to not only facilitate support groups, but teach behavioral education topics to both their medical and their surgical weight loss patients, because again, it doesn't matter the how, right? How am I going to treat my disease of obesity? My role is the same. Whether I'm working with someone in a medical weight loss program or a surgical weight loss program, my gift set is to walk alongside people and help them answer why they eat. And so I stayed with this clinic. It's very integrated and multidisciplinary. I was with this clinic in Grand Rapids, Michigan for 18 years. And then COVID happened. And I think we all kind of looked at how are we doing things. And that's when I went into full-time private practice and just continued to specialize in working with bariatric patients. And I loved it, because here I was coming from adolescent psych, challenging profession. And then I come into a group of adults who want to be there, who wanted to talk, who wanted to jump in. And I was like, this is wonderful. And I've never looked back. And so, yes, I did those pre-op psych evals. My passion, though, was absolutely the group work. I also have private practice where I do individual therapy. And then I realized we need to get the message out, right? Like, not everybody having bariatric surgery is getting such a strong behavioral health or mindset piece component. So I created and launched my own online course and started being able to just work for myself and be invited to opportunities like these so I can reach more people with the mindset piece. And so that's why I'm so excited about Project Reset.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've told you this many times, but in May of 2022, I had the absolute best opportunity to see you in action. And I always feel like I'm very in touch with this community. When I started a Facebook support group back in 2013, I felt like that was one of the single best things I ever did in my career, because it really allowed me over and over and over again to like see the trends and the questions being asked and the tone and how people described the way it felt. And a lot of it is also about like the emotional side of it. People are telling their story, and that is what connects us. And I just felt like that community was just so profound. And I thought I was just incredibly just connected and getting that whole kind of thing. Well, fast forward, and the whole thing with me being so in tune was that, okay, yeah, make sure you do your psych eval and get the check in the box, and we've talked about that many times. But whenever I had that opportunity in May of 2022 to see you present to this group of patients, and there were a lot of people in that room, hundreds of people in the room, and you had this ability to be able to just through simple phrases, sound bites, visuals, you got people to break down before my eyes. People were getting so vulnerable. I've never felt like this electricity in the air. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I still don't have it, but you do. And like, how do we just like bottle that up and make it accessible to anybody that would need it? And it's just interesting to me that for 21 years, you've dedicated yourself to this, and you're obviously just very, very good, and you really just seem to get it. How do you come up with like the topics that you do, or just like I said, these sound bites, like these things, like how do you get so good at it? Like, how do you get it on? How do you get to like resonate with people so well that they just, feel like they can have breakthroughs because of the things that you're telling them?
Thank you for the kind words. And I loved being able to present back in May 2022 when we met. And again, I believe it's listening to our patients, right? And connecting with them and hearing what their struggles are. But before they open up their struggles, I think patients can sense about me a deep respect for them and wanting to hear from them and respecting their strengths. I'm not coming to them as I'm above you and I'm going to diagnose you and, here's your treatment plan. I'm going to walk alongside you, and you have everything you need inside yourself to work on this and to have success. I'm just going to help you find that. And I believe patients sense that about me. I'm also very focused on lifting shame when it comes to the disease of obesity. So a lot of my work with patients is educating them that they are not bad people. It's not about willpower. If it was eat less and move more, we wouldn't have these programs, right? People would do it. Nobody wants to have the disease of obesity. And when I can help a patient understand that they have a chronic disease like others have a chronic disease and they're entitled to treatment, it lifts shame. And when shame is lifted, change can happen and they see hope. But I have to say, one of the greatest compliments I've gotten in the past 21 years is when a patient came up to me after group and said, "Are you sure you've never had obesity? Because you really seem to get it." And I haven't. I'm always very honest with that. But again, I think it's because I've listened to their stories and I really try to build relationships with my patients and just start with where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's so interesting hearing you say that, because like so much of this parallels nutrition. And I think that that's something that's always known, is that obviously, we know that the answer for obesity is not eat less and move more. But nutrition and exercise do play a role, right? And that's part of this whole thing. And so, but it's funny because I say like some of these exact things. Maybe I stole them from you. I don't know, but I say some of these like almost verbatim in some of my sessions with patients of like, this is a disease. Like you didn't choose to be here. And I think that looking at it, implementing kind of a deeper understanding of that for people, because it's easy for me to sit and tell you like it's a disease and it's not your fault, and then we move on and we talk about protein. Like there's only there's only so much we can stick on it. So really kind of delving deeper into those ideas, because it's not always just like, oh, someone told me that it's not my fault and now I feel better about everything. Like you might have that first thought of understanding it, but you have to continue to explore that to really let that shame lift off of you and let yourself be free of that, because it doesn't always happen easily.
And it's really asking, okay, then what treatment do I need? And
Mm-hmm.
all of our patients come with a lot of information on nutrition, a lot of information on movement, of course, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of education on their tool of bariatric surgery. But it's back to this mindset piece. You know, how do they know what they don't know? And that's where Project Reset was created, right? So let's give them that missing piece along with the others.
Yeah, I mean, and so I want to talk a little bit more about how you are implementing this missing piece and, how we decided that it would be 12 weeks and why we decided 12 weeks was so key, and how there would be weekly topics that would give us a little bit of a general framework, but for the most part, it's very free flowing, and every small group is going to have its own personality and its own kind of twists and turns in the way the conversation will be taken, led by you, and how you facilitate that and help people really take the most out of that. I think, attending something live where you can share as much as you want, you can listen as much as you want, you can change it up and do, anything in between. I think that that's where, again, I keep talking about like breakthroughs and hearing something that will put this into perspective, and just, you're on this grind and you're doing all the things correctly, but is your mindset or is your mental aspect of this game in the right place? And I think that that's what is going to be so exciting, because I've talked a lot about, creating even Nutri Health. That is our online education system, and it's standardized and it's videos, and I think that they're incredibly well done. And we put an immense amount of thought and hours and resources into building this thing. But I think people like it, but it's not even near, honestly, even the connection they get on a Facebook support group. So I can't imagine a live kind of interactive conversation led by you, how powerful this is going to be. So yeah, a little bit more about how you kind of came up with the things you want to talk about, and the time frame we're going to do that over.
Right. So it's one thing to be, my life's work is as a bariatric therapist, and I have expertise in that area, but there's nothing like patients connecting with other patients, right? I can provide some skills and a safe place and facilitate a group where breakthroughs can happen and change can happen, and we can learn these mindset tools and, most importantly, apply them. But that the best way to make that happen is when you're in community. And that is why I'm so excited that Project Reset, you will automatically get to choose the group you're going to want to be in. And you're going to be in community with other patients who have also chosen Project Reset, probably for many of the same reasons you have. And I just sat down and brainstormed through my 21 years and thought of what are the 12 most popular topics, if you will, the mindset topics that could be the most helpful. And what I'm really excited about in Project Reset is we're doing this a little bit different and innovative than I've ever done it before. I think I've mentioned in my past clinic, we either did a support group or a class. But with Project Reset, we're bringing the two together. And we're going to have 12 support groups that have a topic to them, right? So it's not going to be me teaching, but our patients talking about how do they see that topic in their life. And some of you are saying, okay, tell me these topics already. What are these mindset things? So things like, I had surgery on my stomach, not my head. What does that mean? Staying motivated. Topics like, exiting emotional eating, understanding your emotional eating roller coaster, topics on things I call squashing your stinking thinking. So that has to do with a type of therapy that I'm very trained in called cognitive behavioral therapy strategies, and how to apply those to your bariatric journey. Things like self-care in the bariatric journey, soothing yourself without food, movement, and mental health. And the one that you got to hear me speak on back in May 2022 is bariatric grief. What's that all about? Losing more than weight, understanding the waves of grief and loss in the bariatric journey. Our patients grieve their relationship with food. And guess what? They don't get that information in their surgical binders. And they need a place to talk about that with other patients and talk about those feelings, because guess what? How do they usually cope with hard feelings? It used to be eating, right? They would turn to food to manage their uncomfortable emotions. And our patients don't want to do that anymore. They want to learn a new way. So coming together in Project Reset and be able to talk about these topics on a regular basis is going to be very empowering and healing. And I'm very excited.
Oh, you're just like a warm hug. Isn't she? She's like a cup of...
She is. I think it's the combination of like therapist and Michigan.
Yeah. And like a great mom too. Like, I know you've had a lot going on in your personal life lately, and and I think that makes you even better because you're so open, and that just gives you empathy, and all the feels of dropping off a daughter at college, and and all the other things you've been going through. It's a lot going on, but you just keep on pushing forward. And
I think it allows our patients to see us as human. And that's what I've appreciated about you, Dr. Dovec and Hannah, too. Like, you don't step back and like, I'm the provider and I have these boundaries. We share some of our life as well, right? And that we're human, and we all have struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. We all feel these emotions, and we all try to cope with them in different ways. And I'm signing up for some of these techniques and strategies. I need some help.
I know, right? We're going to need our own small group. Just the three of us.
It's interesting you say that, Dr. Dovec, because I did have one of the surgeons come to one of my classes at the surgical center, and it happened to be bariatric grief. And he had a breakthrough, right? He had an aha moment, because he's like, I understand now why so many of my patients are struggling with anger. Anger is a normal wave of grief. And he said, I think I've just given them the best tool, and there's so much, their health is getting better and their quality of life is improving. And I'm like, why am I angry? He's like, now that I've sat in your class, Lora, and we've talked about this, I realize they're grieving, right? And that this is hard, and it's an adjustment. And not only do you grieve your relationship with food, but relationships can change post-bariatric surgery. People you thought were going to be your biggest supporters aren't your biggest supporters. And that can bring waves of grief and sadness, and how hard it is, right? So we've been talking about obesity being a chronic disease. I'm sure our patients listening can say, oh yeah, it didn't cure. Man, I was sure hoping it would. I still got to work at this. And there's anger about that. And there needs to be a safe space to talk about that. And that's why I'm excited to have an opportunity to do that with Project Reset.
I love it. And so we're talking a lot about the mindset, but we have other aspects of it too. And Hannah, we're trying to do this alliteration on M. So Hannah is the meals. And
meals.
Talk a little bit, Hannah, about, so it's not the same old thing. Like you said, eat protein, low carbs, and make sure you don't add that sugar. Which, there are the basics. Like, you do need to know like some of the foundations, but what do you think about all of that?
Yeah, I think kind of where we're looking at this program, I'm going to back it up just for a second of where do we see this program coming in? I think this is going to be something that people who are freshly post-op can kind of use, but I think where we really know people are going to be needing this kind of thing is somebody who's maybe a couple years out from surgery. Maybe they've been on the journey for a while. Maybe they've, plateaued or had some weight come back on or something like that, and so I think that's where this is. And so they're going to know a lot of those basics. It's like you said, like that's just That's what we hear. Now, sometimes I will say, I think that dietitians, some of the best dietitians give the most boring advice because like there's no magic wand, there's no magic bullet. It's like, yes, eat your protein. I always say like, if there's one thing you can do in your life, it's like eat more vegetables, eat more plants, like that helps anything basically. But I think that there's more to it. And then there's also the recognition of like, to me, and this is important again at any stage in the journey, but like making nutrition fit into your life because we don't want people to feel like they're in this diet cycle for the rest of their life. I don't want you to be on like what I call like a capital D diet. Like, it's like got a name to it. No, you want to be following your lowercase d diet, which that the definition of that is just like what a person eats in a day. We all eat a diet. I want you to be able to live that. And so to me, where this is going to come in, like we're going to have some meal plans. So you're going to get some, they're going to be, ones that you can follow, ones that you maybe you won't like all the recipes. And I don't expect everyone to, and I don't truly expect a single person to follow these exactly to the T as they are written, because that's not going to fit into people's lives. But it's going to give them a framework of what to look for. We're going to be, providing some education materials of like, how do I fit these things into my life? What about my culturally important foods? We get questions about that all the time. Like, well, I can't eat all the things that I grew up. And it's like, I probably have said to people, like, why not? Like I've sometimes maybe get a little sassy with people, but it's like, why do you think that? And where does that idea come from? So like, how can we break through some of those? And, how do we just make continuing to meet your goals from a nutrition standpoint fit into your reality and your life? Because that's obviously where we live, is in reality.
Yeah.
Most of
and
us.
I tell you this all the time. I mean, I give group sessions to the first time I'm meeting patients at their initial consultation, and I try to describe you. But you did a great job at like introducing who you are and what makes you so outstanding to me from the moment I met you as well. It's that you just get it. Like you're not going to ask people to do something you wouldn't do. And I think that's incredibly important that yeah, you get it that it's not easy when you're running the kids around or, you're a single parent or you're a kid in high school or college. Yeah, or an executive. You're busy, you're working, you have other responsibilities. And unfortunately, we should be prioritizing ourselves and our basic needs. But like sometimes I sit here all day and I'm like, I truly have forgotten to refill my water. My lips are like have like a white line on them. I'm like, you need to go to the bathroom today. Like it's just like life just swirls around you and it just happens. And how do you like with this? Hopefully the thing is people will pause and truly hit the reset button and really dive deep and look at themselves instead of just getting caught up in the day-to-day. I think that's so important to hopefully we motivate you to be able to do that. And then Hannah, would you talk a little bit about your friend Gracie, who is coming onto this project as well. She's not on the podcast right now, but
We'll
Gracie
bring her on.
we should bring her. We'll have a whole one on that, but she is our expertise, our aficionado in movement and how she is so intertwined in all of this as well.
Yeah, so Gracie is my best friend. She and I met.
I thought I was your best friend. Oh,
you're
sorry.
my best doctor friend.
Okay,
you're
I'll
my
take
best.
it.
You're my best blonde friend.
Okay, I'm getting closer. All right, keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So Gracie and I met when we did our internship in New Orleans at Tulane in 2000. It would have been 2014 that we met. Funny story of how we like became friends was I was dating somebody at the time and I was annoyed. Like my roommates bugged me. I was annoyed and I was like, no, I need someone to hang out with. Cause like it was a long distance relationship, this whole thing. And he was like, why don't you hang out with Gracie? She seems like a bro. So since then she's become my bro. So she's my best bro, but we spell it like the New Orleans way, Breaux. So anyway, she is that. And, for the past decade, we've just, become best friends and she's in Chicago, grew up there, and she has done some awesome work. She kind of went out of our internship and into a career that blended nutrition and exercise. She worked for a company that did corporate wellness, and then she's kind of moved up in the ranks. And as it is with most of my friends, I don't actually know what their jobs are day to day. So I think she did some programming. She was in charge of some people. She grew these programs. And so she is actually a CSSD, which is like a certified sports dietitian. So she is a registered dietitian. I guess that's hopefully obvious from we did our dietetic internship together. So she's kind of blended those two things together, and then has kind of gone through some personal things herself. She had a battle with cancer in the past year. She's kind of on the coming out of the other side of that. But I think she's going to really give us a lot of bringing her experience together with movement and talking about exercise and how it for her plays not just the role from the physical, but the mental, and how it can, really impact you in that way, because it's had a big impact on her, in her personal journey in the past year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, her journey is just so raw, and, watching her Instagram post when her and her father together, it was just so moving. And it always makes me cry when I think about it. Like they both together shaved their heads before, her hair was really starting to fall out. And she just said, like, boy, breast cancer steals you of your femininity. But I think that right now, her using that kind of creative energy to make something that ties together, again, all of these other areas of expertise that are relevant here, of course, like you said, the foundation of this, of movement, and also her nutrition knowledge and all of that, but also, my gosh, I can't even tell you guys what she is coming up with in terms of just incorporating into just the mental work that she's done on a personal level to like push through some incredibly, almost to me, unfathomably challenging times, because she's only in her 30s and she had this really, really tough diagnosis, and how she's come out with it true to her name with such grace. And it's just, she's just such a beautiful person to watch all of that. And when you suggested that we get to work with her, I was like, absolutely. Like, this is just so cool. Like these minds and backgrounds and stories and struggles and strengths coming together and making this like really magical thing that I would love nothing more than people have said, like, that was truly a Project Reset. Like that truly like was the reset I have been craving for maybe most of my adult life. And that's what I want us to do. And I think we're doing it.
Yes, I believe we've created a program that's going to bring hope. And, Dr. Dovec, you were just talking about how we just can become go, go, go and do, and we're not even getting our hydration in, and we haven't taken time to go to the bathroom. And what, again, I've learned from my patients through the years is they're everything to everyone, right? They're the yes people. It's one of the groups we're going to have. Could our yes be sabotaging our success? And when our patients made the decision to have bariatric surgery, they were all in, and they said, you know what, it's time for me. It's time to make myself and my health a priority. I'm essential. And what happens is they lose sight of that sometimes. Life happens. And just like you said, Hannah, who's, the ideal person to sign up? Someone who's struggling and feel like they lost their mojo and feel like, where'd my success go? Where was that person from the beginning? And what I've learned, hands down, when I meet with patients who are struggling with weight regain, and I say to them, tell me a little bit about what was going on in your life when you were struggling, when you started to see the scale go back up. I hear time and time again, a significant stressor. And I became everything to everyone again. And I put myself on the back burner. Now, Body by Bariatrics has this wonderful opportunity to say, hey, you get to make yourself essential again. You get to sign up for this program to do something for you and your journey. And then we get to walk alongside them for 12 weeks to give them the tools to have success. They're still that same person. They haven't lost that mojo. It's there. They just need to make themselves essential again. And Project Reset is a way to do that.
I love it. I love it. I think we're going to have some really meaningful moments that are going to give momentum because we're looking at mindset and movement and meals and motivation. Hannah, keep going with the M's. I mean, we can't
Magic, you
stop
said it
now.
earlier.
I did say magic. We need to add that.
I know, might.
That is it. And, at this point, when this podcast comes out, we will have had our summer bash and we will have announced this there. So now we just kind of we just put our little baby out there and we just see what people think of it. And so I can't wait to see, just kind of how all this goes and everything. So I mean, there's lots of questions that you may have about this, but I think our intentions are pure that we want to provide something that's pretty amazing. So there'll be some logistical things and how do you sign up for this and all that kind of good stuff. Hannah, take us away.
All right. So as with anything with us, best place, go to our website, bodybybariatrics.com. There'll be a tab at the top that says Project Reset. You'll click there. You can read about the program. We'll have more information. There's FAQs. There's going to just be info about us. So whatever, you need that you didn't hear here today, it's in there. You can always contact us from that page too. If you have more questions, you can send us a text directly. And then there'll just be a place for you to sign up. We are trying to make this accessible for people. So the price it's going to probably reflect, you're going to be getting a lot of value for the price that you're going to see on the website. So go ahead. You're just going to sign up there. As soon as you sign up, we're going to be checking that daily and you will get a text from us saying, hey, got your sign up. We're so excited to get you in the program. We might need to gather a little bit more information, but probably not much. And then we'll let you know what the schedule looks like. So we're going to be starting out with a couple classes a week. And so you'll be able to join whichever works best for your schedule. We'll have some in the evening, some in the during the daytime. As this grows, we'll hopefully have some more and be offering more opportunities. Like we said, it's 12 weeks. And so ideally you'll kind of stick with the 12 weeks, really stay on top of it. But like we said, we know life happens. Things get really busy. There might be a night you can't make it. Something happens, whatever, that's fine. We'll give you an extra week to kind of make up that if you miss one. But we do think it's really important. Like we said, this is for you. This is to grow you, to make yourself feel back to feeling whole. And we want to make sure that you really are trying to stick with it and honoring yourself in that way. So trying to keep it kind of within that. From there, you're going to join those group sessions. If your timing needs to change, that's okay. You can kind of switch in and out of different groups, but we hope that you kind of find your group and, maybe stick with it and maybe friendships blossom out of this and other connections are going to, because like Lora said, the meat of this is really that peer-to-peer, that patient-to-patient connection that you're going to get within those groups. So we want that to, we want you to feel connected in that sense. So, and then weekly after sessions, you're going to be getting materials from us. You're going to be getting, like I said, some things like meal plans, some exercise routines. You'll be receiving, Laura's got emails, we'll have an email that goes out to you every time that you have a session, just to recap kind of what that conversation was focused on. And so, I think it's just going to be something that, from the logistics standpoint, we're trying to keep it as easy as possible. You'll join these via Zoom. So these group sessions are virtual sessions. I don't know if we actually ever said that, but you'll be able to join from wherever you are. You can get comfy, cozy, be in your sweatpants, bring your cup of tea or whatever it might be.
I love it.
Yeah, I think I touched on everything.
You did
I get
great.
it
all? Wow,
yes,
what a summary, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I think in a past life I was a car salesman or something.
Oh, you're so good. No, I'm like, oh, that was such a wonderful summary. I'm like, that is what I've been trying to go on and on and on and on. You're like, let me just summarize this all
Just
for
concise.
you. Yeah. So we want you to feel like you're committing back to yourself. We want this to be impactful. 12 weeks is relatively short, but it's enough time that maybe you can, again, see some real habit changes. And, there's the whole SMART goals and what's going great and what can we work on?
I'm going to interrupt you. what's your role in this, Dr. Dovec?
Yes.
We talked about the other three people.
I know. I am the M of motivation, and I am going to be doing some Q&A sessions throughout. So basically, you do all this headwork, you are, following the meal plan, kind of the structure of all of that, movement, the whole 9 yards. But maybe it is time to think about a revision, or think about a medication, or maybe you've been on a certain type of medication and there's many, many more options. Maybe you have coverage, maybe you don't, maybe compounded is good for you, maybe a pill is good, or another type of injectable. I am going to really just explain all of your options. So it's somewhat like a consultation, what I go over, but I'm available as a resource in these small intimate group sessions, also live, to, kind of motivate you to go one way or another, or maybe you're just rocking and you just need that little bit of reassurance from me. Like, I think you're doing great. And I think we're all our worst critics. Goodness, we could all talk about that. All of us, we always want to do better than we are. And I'm there to offer that motivation and information to help you to make the most informed decisions about your journey, because it's an ongoing one.
Mm-hmm.
It's ongoing. So
right.
I think we covered a lot. I can't wait to get some feedback, and we're also just constantly evolving. So it's almost like you've been saying this for a long time. It took me a long time to finally say, like, okay, let's really like pull all the thought leaders, if you will, together and put this thing together. But we will listen, and if there's more of a topic we need to do, that's the beautiful thing. We're nimble. We will pivot quickly. We will answer your call and your
saying
needs.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I need to
sometimes
stop that.
To our detriment.
I know. I'm like, oh, you don't like this angle? Okay, well, let's tear that all down, burn the whole thing down. Let's start it over, because we got some feedback, but I'm not stopping until we get this thing right and we get it.
And I think the other exciting thing is from this, like, this is going to be that 12-week, but we know it doesn't end there. There's going to be more coming out in the long term to go alongside this. So we're going to be offering some additional services. Again, if you want like a personalized meal plan, maybe that really does work well for you. And you're like, I want something to stick to, because if I have that, I don't have to think. Like, I'm taking my brain out of the equation and I cannot think about it. I don't know if Laura would agree with taking your brain out of every decision, but
Wait a second, we're unwinding what we just spent the last time.
Yeah, right. Just don't think.
Well,
just do.
No, I think it'd be both and. If I don't have to put so much energy on making a meal or picking out a nutrition plan, I can put more of my mindset energy on figuring out my emotional relationship with food and working through my grief process and staying motivated. So I can absolutely get behind what you're saying.
Okay, I love it. We're going improv here. Yes, and that's like the answer you have to give in improv.
Oh,
have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yeah. So if,
I love improv, but now that you say that, absolutely.
Yeah, because if you say no, it shuts everything down. Yeah. So you have to say yes to whatever crazy thing the person says, and then you have to add to it. So it's just improv over here. So we're going to be doing other things. We're going to maybe offer some things during like the holidays, when we know that people might have some unique struggles, looking at maybe some support groups for friends and family who don't understand the disease of obesity. And so we really want to make all of these things available to you as people that we want to succeed. And like I said, this is just more and more is going to grow from this. And so we're really excited. This is just a jumping off platform to get us started here.
Yeah, I think I'll just kind of end with like my story on a little bit about this whole Project Reset thing. I have had a couple of times in my professional career where I had I can only describe them almost like these spiritual awakenings. And it's like these like profound thoughts that is like, I cannot unthink this. I cannot stop being obsessed with this. The first one happened in August of 2019. And I happened to be on vacation, which is the time, again, We stopped the go, go, go. I slowed down. I was visiting Vail in the summertime, and it was just the most beautiful thing, the Rocky Mountains. And I mean, it was just like so awesome. And I just had a lot of time just to like sit there and enjoy nature and look out and think. And what I thought at that time was, oh my God, weight loss medications, something major is happening and coming. And on that vacation, I signed up to take my American Board of Obesity Medicine exam. And I took that in February of 2020, and then COVID happened in March of 2020. And it was just a really pivotal moment for me to help some patients with things. And anyway, it was a really good thing. And then obviously Ozempic and Wegovy and Zepbound and Mounjaro and all of these things came down the pike. So I'm like, okay, my like intuition really was good on that one. The second one was when I was in Costa Rica. Laura and I had been talking for kind of years on and off, and then a little bit more seriously. And before I went, I'm like, how do we get her to come? And then it was like, we have to focus and give more value to the post-op side of things. We put everything in the preparation, the evaluations, the education, like all this stuff, but there is really not much of anything that's really fixated on that after side of things and offering real value there. So anyway, I saw it on Costa Rica, and I kept writing to Laura, and she was like, come on, enjoy your trip. Would you stop texting me about this? I know
like I am enjoying my trip.
I am having the time of my life, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that you keep telling me to go back to my vacation, because I am on it when I am texting you. Like, I felt euphoria. Like, there's a few times where I just feel like this is it. Like, this is the breakthrough that I need for myself to be like a better physician, just to accomplish like my real goals in life. And anyway, I am so freaking excited about this. And I know that I just know that this is going to be, like you said, like what puts it all into perspective and makes it worth it is when someone comes up to you afterwards and says like, man, you just really get it. And if we get that unsolicited kind of a comment that that was good, then yeah, it was all worth it. Just staring out at the Costa Rican Pacific Ocean there, and just daydreaming about what this kind of looks like.
Can I tell you the third pivotal moment of your career?
Oh, shoot.
When you locked eyes with me on that
That's
Zoom
true.
call.
On a Zoom. No, that is no BS.
2021.
That was it. And I was going to ask you also, Hannah, we talked a little bit about Laura's story and how she pivoted to bariatric surgery 21 years ago, but you were a dialysis dietitian, which is really tricky and really important to keeping, honestly, those patients alive.
Yeah.
And I know you were moving to Florida and the whole thing. Did you just like Google registered dietitian jobs, or were you kind of thinking about the whole bariatric space? Like, how did you come to this?
I had done, so when I was in my internship, we did like a 1-week rotation in bariatrics, and I really enjoyed it, but it was very short. It was just, kind of I think most people do it in their internship, but I really liked it. I liked being outpatient. That was something that, even though throughout all of COVID, I went in to work because dialysis obviously doesn't shut down. But it was outpatient. I did about a year inpatient when I first graduated from my internship, and like knew that was not for me. But like you said, we were moving. And so I ended up just applying for a job online. And the way that the hospital was, like, they didn't differentiate between types of dietitians. It was just like you were like 1, 2, or 3, basically based on how many years of experience you had, kind of thing. And so I applied for one, and I was like, kind of just trying to get a job at that point. And I was like, I can do this for a little bit, figure it out, get my foot in the door in Florida, and then whatever. So I did that interview, probably pretty much bombed it because I didn't really want to be an inpatient dietitian. And they're like, you have to alternate every other weekend or something. And maybe not every other, but every couple weekends. And you have to be on hurricane duty. Like, do you really need, I guess for like TPN, like parenteral nutrition, you need a dietitian on for if hospitals.
Jeez, oh man, I don't know. That's intense.
Yeah. So anyways, it's all this stuff. And so then I get a call from someone being like, hey, there's this other role open that we think you might be a better fit for. It's outpatient, it's bariatrics, like it's a new thing coming to the hospital. Would you want to interview for that? And I was like, yeah, I would have applied for that if I had known it was an option. Like I just thought they were all inpatient. So anyway, they're like, great, scheduled the interview. It was you and 3 other women. And it was, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've told this story before that like, we just like locked into each other. And like, then it was it. You were like shushing everybody. You're like, stop asking your questions. Like they had to ask certain questions because of like just how it worked. And like, you were like, no. And so I like hung up, we got off the call. I was in my office at the dialysis clinic. I luckily had my own office. So I like just took my interview in there. And I like got off and called like my now husband and was like, babe, oh my God, that interview was amazing. He's like, you're never this excited about work. Like I was so burnt out at my old job. Because as important as a dialysis dietitian is, and you're absolutely right, I think they are saving people's lives and like protecting, keeping people on dialysis safe. It can be very monotonous. It can be very rote. You see the same people week after week after week after week. They come in with the same problems. I mean, talk about where we need a lot of behavioral therapy because it's a very difficult disease to manage. And there's a lot of resistance to change in that population. So it wears you out. Month after month, you're doing the same. You do the lab report, you hand them out, you talk to the patients, you chart. Month repeats. So I was kind of looking to get out of that cycle. And so, yeah, that's where I am. And now I just wear every hat I can.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Yes, it is an interesting job at Body by Bariatrics. The Body by Bariatrics job description for Hannah Schuyler, RD, is, I don't know
Director
how
of Nutrition. It's my official title.
That's our official title.
Remember that? Really...
Yeah, I know. We made you this. We had to be real official, but we got to come up with something more what you are, Oh my gosh. But you guys have all been instrumental in this. I mean, I'm sure everyone's just running through a wall right now to get to the nearest website to sign up. I mean, my gosh.
How could you not be excited? I'm so excited to meet a whole new group of patients, right? You talk about pivotal moments. That's why I went into private practice, is I knew I had to get this mindset message outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah. And also outside of even Body by Bariatrics, or if I operate on you in Maryland or Florida, or if I did your surgery or not, it doesn't matter. And that's what we want to put out there. All are welcome. All can benefit. The more the merrier. That means the more connections, the more breakthroughs, the more sound bites, all of that stuff. So, like you can please all, take part in it. And especially during these introductory kind of pricing things that we're doing, just to kind of get the momentum going.
Get in now.
Right. So, oh, go ahead, Laura. Please.
I was just saying, incredible value. I have to echo what you said.
I know you were nodding. I know we're not on video, but Laura was very much so nodding. They think I'm a little bit crazy for what I'm pricing it at, but I am holding steadfast to this pricing structure, because I think that it's important that even if you had to do a payment plan or something, I don't want the money to hold anybody back from getting this type of information. I don't. And talk to me if there's any issue with it. I really want everybody to have the same opportunities. So, and I think this is a must to have the best return on your investment in having a surgery, or even if you didn't have surgery, you just want to really just learn and hear stuff. So,
yeah. Well, Laura, thank you so much for being with us tonight, this evening, whatever it is. We're obviously, if you guys couldn't tell, we're very excited about this. So we just so appreciate you taking your time to do this. And of course, to create this course and lead these groups and lead these people on to their project reset.
Yes, I am super excited. And I'm so glad that we got in there. You don't any bariatric patient, anyone can join this. You don't have to have had Dr. Dovec do your surgery or be in her medical weight loss program. It's for anyone who wants to have Project Reset in their lives.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, you can find more information about Project Reset at bodybybariatrics.com. Click on the Project Reset tab. All the information will be there. You can text us at 407-543-0971. That texts right to Body by Bariatrics. And then, of course, you can find us on Instagram. I'm at hannahschuyler.rd, at Dr. Dovec, at and now I don't remember your handle.
Bariatric
Therapist.
Duh. So there at DoctorXDietitian, at Body by Bariatrics. You can find us all over the place. We'll make sure all of that's super easy to access. And we're excited too. I know we kind of touched on it at the beginning, but we're bringing the podcast back. It's kind of a little Project Reset for us. So get excited for more content coming from DoctorXDietitian here soon. We are, like I said, we've missed it. We want to get back into it. So get excited for that as well. And always feel free to message us if you have any topics you want us to go over, and we'll take care of that.
Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.